Hello and welcome to the City of Cedar Falls Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. I call this meeting to order. Could I get a roll call, please?
Alberhaski?
Here.
Gribovich?
Here.
Hartley?
Here.
Henderson? Johnson? Mosier?
Here.
Sorensen? Stallnaker?
Here.
Watkins?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. First order of business tonight is any discussion or a motion on minutes from last meeting.
I would make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Time of the meeting for any public comment. I don't think there's anyone here for that tonight, so thank you. We'll come back to, there's no old business, just new business in this meeting. Our second agenda item is a final plat for Winding Creek. And Michelle's going to take this tonight?
I am, thank you.
Thank you.
So you might have remembered this in June. The Winding Creek preliminary plat came to you in June. Today we're looking at the final plat. It is located north of East Green Road and east of South Main. It is currently one lot with 3 duplexes on the property. The applicant proposes to subdivide this into 6 lots. The final plat is conforming to the preliminary plat. Lot sizes and dimensions comply with the zoning requirements. As mentioned before, there's existing easements and they're also been forwarded to this plat, and there will be a private easement over the water lines as noted in the staff report. As listed in the staff report, there are a few technical requirements to the plat that need to be amended before it goes to City Council. And with that, staff recommends approval with the corrections and the signed owner's statement of easements and restrictions prior to City Council's approval. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff on this one? Is a petitioner here tonight like to speak to this item? I see not. I'll bring it back to commission. Seems pretty straightforward to me. I mean, I'd entertain any motions on this.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the City Council.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Alberhaski?
Aye.
Gribovich?
Aye.
Hartley?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Stallnaker?
Aye.
Watkins?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries, and that will move on to council.
All right, thank you very much. Our third agenda item tonight is CHN Design Review, siting at 703 West 20th Street. And Chris has this tonight.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. The owner of 703 West 20th Street is seeking to renovate their facade. Most elements of the facade will be replaced with the same or similar materials, like for like. But the proposed siding is the only exception. So that requires a design review from the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council. The existing siding at 703 West 20th Street is composed of 6-inch wood shakes, and the applicant is proposing 4-inch double lap vinyl siding. The subject property is located within the RT Residence Zoning District. As far as part of the design review, things that need to be considered are architectural compatibility. In this case, the architecture of the house is not changing. Neighborhood character. The vinyl lap siding will not differ really from the character of the neighborhood, as it is a common siding material on adjacent and nearby properties. And at present, this is the only home on the block with wood shakes. As a siding material. So, that being said, staff recommends approval of the siding on this house, and I turn it back to the commission.
Thank you. Any questions for staff on this? Is the petitioner here tonight like to speak to this item? I do not see anyone. I'll bring it back to commission. I'm okay with the vinyl siding. I think I always have been. I wouldn't want to have to paint the wood siding on there if it was my house, so.
I do appreciate that they're going to make some updates to the house that obviously could use a little bit of work. While it is the only house of its kind with the Cedar Shake siding, I think that's one of the things that kind of makes, difference in a neighborhood can also be kind of fun in some ways. And it's kind of antiquated. And so I think it does make some sense, and I'm okay with it as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the Cedar Shakes is a lot more interesting, and but it's a lot more expensive and a lot more maintenance. So given the surroundings, I think it makes sense to approve as well.
I would agree, and especially considering that I don't believe this property is technically within the downtown character district where you typically see some of those older styles of siding. And given that it's the only one on the block with the regular wood siding, I think it would make perfect sense for that to fit in and go to the vinyl siding.
I did like, too, though, that they are still keeping the portico and some of those other architectural details. So I thought that was nice that they're doing that. I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Could we get a roll call vote, please?
Alberhaski,
Aye.
Grebevich,
I will abstain.
Hartley,
Aye.
Henderson, oops, sorry, not here. Moser,
Aye.
Stallnaker,
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
That motion carries.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the fourth agenda item tonight is easement vacation for 2407 Willow Lane. And Chris has this tonight also. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Todd and Mary Sires, the owners of 2407 Willow Lane, have requested to vacate the 10-foot wide utility easement. There we go. 10-foot wide utility easement on their property at 2407 Willow Lane. And this is located at the southwest corner of Hawthorne Drive and Willow Lane. It's on that street. Hawthorne would be the street just south, bordering the Cedar Heights Elementary. Part of this is that the applicants would like to construct an accessory dwelling unit behind the house over the utility easement. That's not something we're necessarily reviewing in this case, but just considering the vacation of the utility easement. Up on the screen, you can see kind of this is all of Lot 1 in the Ferris Acres edition. It was divided into two lots at one point, 2407 and 2421. You can see in yellow is the easement that goes across that southern portion of 2407 Willow Lane. We'll just go over a few of the things that we look at when it comes to this. We consider whether the easement is used for public use. Currently, there is nothing in the easement that we would use it. The easement is not needed for access to other easements or utility lines, and the city and CFU do not have utilities within the easement. So just a quick detail that was part of the notes from CFU on this is that the easement in red up on the screen, it does have utilities in it. The area in green does not, and the area in green is what what the applicant is proposing to be vacated. So it should certainly pass as far as that's concerned. So with that, staff recommends approval of this, and I turn it back to the commission for discussion.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
I have one that I was just curious on. That easement runs continuously, assuming across several other properties there, with this being the one closest to Willow Drive. And there's obviously no point in maintaining the other easements. Do we just wait until future homeowners petition?
Actually, CFU does have some utilities that run across the other properties.
So they kind of
that
zigzag
easement.
through the
So-
neighborhood a little bit?
So just this portion of the easement makes sense to vacate.
Just curious. Thank you.
So they want to build a detached building?
Correct.
So, and will that come by, through planning and zoning when that happens?
It will not.
Okay, because it fits code.
Correct. And there's a new state code that requires us to allow them without a mandatory review. So
Okay,
that's part of that as well.
okay, thank you. Petitioner here tonight like to speak to this item? I take it no, so I'll bring it back to commission for any discussion or a motion.
If it's not being used by anything, I'd say let them have it. I'd move to approve.
Second.
Yeah, I agree, if it's not being utilized, but, all right, we have a motion and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Alberhowski,
Aye.
Grubevich,
Aye.
Hartley,
Aye.
Moser,
Aye.
Stallnaker,
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Okay,
All right, thank you. The fifth and last agenda item tonight is for a Highway 1 District Site Plan Amendment for the Golden China Restaurant. And Tom has that tonight, thank you.
Good evening, Commission. Yes, many of you may recall, this came through last year for approval for the Golden China Restaurant, and there was a lot of discussion around, number one, the orientation of the building, and the fact that the initial plan had a dumpster in the front yard, and staff was concerned, the dumpster, that would make it very public. And the applicant at that time agreed to relocate the dumpster to the southern end of the property, and they did some changes to the facade to make it look more, say, street-oriented. So they added some spandrel glass and made it look like some of the other sides of the building. They're coming back to request to amend the site plan to allow the dumpster enclosure back into that front yard area. And so with that dumpster location change, there are some considerations about that street facade, the parking lot layout will change, the landscaping plan, and really just the first two are really an issue. Everything else that's required of the Highway 1 site plan review, they didn't change. So what was approved last year is essentially still, we feel, meet the requirement. The discussion about the location of the dumpster in the front yard, a lot of that centers around the fact that dumpster areas can be unsightly. The gates are sometimes not closed, or the area is not well maintained. They're proposed, with this proposal, they're proposing to address those concerns. However, there still needs to be a vigilant monitoring to make sure that trash doesn't get out of there, or that if things fill up, they're not setting the trash outside of that location. So, there should be some consideration about the mitigating those aesthetic and maintenance issues. So we've got our site plan here, and you can see the one on the left shows where the dumpster location is currently approved. And the proposal then is to put it back up on the north side of the building. With this, there'll be some modifications to the landscaping. They're going to put trees and shrubs to help hide that location from there. In addition, by moving that, there'll be some 2 additional parking spaces provided on the end, so it meets the parking requirements, which is something we need to review. Okay. Come on. Well, this always happens to me, particularly City Council. There we go. So the image on the top is the one that is approved, and you notice that again, these images don't have the landscaping. So we have a landscape plan that we reviewed and would be part of this approval. But the initial one, they provided some additional materials along the side, the stonework to sort of make this side look like the front of the building. The lower one is what is the new proposal, which they've extended that cement board siding further over and incorporated that material into the proposed enclosure. And then it's hard to see on here, but the door that you can see to the just to the left or right, excuse me, right of the stone section, that's the door to the kitchen. There is another door on the building, but that's to a storage area that's not connected to the restaurant. And from that storage, from that kitchen doorway, people can come out, and there's a gateway on the east side of that dumpster enclosure for people to take things in and deposit them. The gates that are facing us is where the pickup company would use to come in and pick up the trash. So there's the materials there match the building. Again, there will be some landscaping, it wasn't shown on this, that will help to mask the location of the dumpster and the actual pickup area. Okay. Okay, and so just to highlight on the landscaping, you'll notice that from the approved plan on the lower left side, they're keeping the same number of plants. They're just allocating them to be more in line with the landscaping along the west side of the property. And then there are 2 additional parking spaces will be located down in that corner. And then if you look up at the top, you'll see where the dumpster enclosures, that trapezoidal shaped figure, and then you'll see where the pickup lane is. But the landscaping that was on the other one, they've substituted a couple trees, but the point-wise they're the same. But the tree and the shrubs will be there to help provide screening from Brandywine and the back side of the building. Okay, so analysis of the changes. Again, there were previous concerns about the fact the location of the dumpster would be in the front yard, and it, if not well maintained and looked after, it could create aesthetic issues. The applicant were recommending that they propose a mitigation plan for the aesthetics, so that they acknowledge and write something that states that they will monitor the dumpster and make sure that it's closed, that the refuse is disposed of, nothing is sitting on the outside, and that landscape screening is maintained in a healthy condition to help screen that dumpster, because a lot of times, trash trucks back up, they don't necessarily always hit the spot. So we want to make sure that since they're proposing this as a way to screen that stays in for the long term of the process. So the recommendation, staff does recommend acceptance of the SP 25-009, the amendment to the Highway 1 District Plan for Golden China, to allow that dumpster enclosure to be located in the front yard, subject to the design changes to the facade as noted in the staff report and on the revised site plan and architectural plans, including the upgrade to the dumpster enclosure to match the facade materials and the installation of the landscape bed that will include a tree and shrubs that will screen the dumpster from the public view along Brandywine Boulevard. And then a submittal of a statement from the owner agreeing to maintain the dumpster site and landscaping as noted in the staff report, and then subject to any conditions or restrictions recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. If you choose to approve, we would recommend having a condition that an updated landscape plan showing the correct number of points and landscaping material be submitted before it goes to council. And then again, that owner statement as noted be submitted to us prior to going to council for approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any questions for staff? Okay. Petitioner here tonight, like to speak to this item? Name and address, please.
Finally, somebody wants to talk to you.
Finally, thank you.
Dan Levi with Levi Architecture, 3228 Cedar Heights Drive. So this issue had come up when we first came through last time, and the owner's religious beliefs are that north entrances are really frowned upon. So they were adamant that the building face south, given the layout of this land and the idea that they would have to take their garbage out the north side and walk all the way around or cart it all the way around to the south side. So we had talked that this would eventually come back, and we had been working with staff about what that would look like, the concerns, how do we mitigate those concerns. So the entire enclosure being surrounded by Nichiha material, wood grain, a very soft visual material, to make sure that that is maintained. That includes the gates themselves as well as the perimeter walls are all covered with Nichiha. And then we did relocate some ornamental tree along with some shrubbery to make sure that that is screened and softened with vegetation, gates being closed at all times, and this gives them a much shorter distance from that delivery and trash access door from the kitchen directly to the dumpster enclosure without actually having to go through the gates. There'll be an opening between the building and the wall so they can just walk right through there, and the gates are only used when they do have the service come pick up their dumpsters. And so I would also like to just interject and thank staff for allowing us an opportunity to meet with you and go over these issues, and the feedback was beneficial. Applicant does understand the conditions that may be set on this, and they appreciate that the city sees the north as the front, unlike the way they see it, but they understand where the city's coming from. So they're happy to include any agreements necessary.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the petitioner?
Can I just make sure I heard you right? So the door that they'll bring the trash out through is actually the one that was on the far right? It wasn't the one that was in the middle, is that right?
It's the middle.
Oh, it is the
The
middle.
one on the far right gets them to a storage room and the utility room.
Okay, great, thanks.
So it is that door that's just off of, it's not inside the enclosure.
Okay,
The image is back up on the screen if.
thank
So it
you.
would be that middle door.
Dan, I have a question for you, because I had talked to Mike earlier. So there's no gate, pedestrian gate for the kitchen help to go through on that
Mike was
east
handling,
side?
Mike was handling this, and he filled me in. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend tonight.
Okay.
There may be a gate on that, but they will not have to go through the large
Large gate,
swing
yep.
gates. They will have just a service door size, 3 foot, 3.5 foot. So on a day-to-day or multiple times a day, taking the garbage out, they will not have to open those gates. So we don't have to worry about those gates staying open.
Right.
Because they'll, of course, everyone likes to get a little lazy, and next thing you know, those doors are open, and now everyone on Brandy Lynn is looking at our dumpster, and that is what we clearly want to avoid in order to be allowed to move this to the north side of the building.
Any more questions for, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, the dilemma. There's never a good place to put a dumpster, is there? I mean, this has been thought through. I mean, you got to put the dumpster somewhere. I understand the reasoning for relocating it. I think it's a good coverage around it, and the landscaping around it would help. I could probably roll with this, even though I know we discussed this a lot when this building originally went through.
I agree, and I think, with the way you talked about the gate and mitigating it so that they don't need to keep opening it, I think that's going to be really helpful, and that it makes me feel better about the new location.
I have a question about the statement that the owner would sign. Once that's signed, if 3 years from now the gate's left open frequently, is there any recourse?
So the city always has the recourse to enforce our nuisance ordinance, and so that's how we would enforce it. Adding the statement to this and having the minutes and the discussion at the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council helps us if we need to enforce it. So we can issue citations and that sort of thing. Those things go to court, and if we have the backup of having these statements at this time, we think it's helpful.
So even if the nuisance code does not spell out, must keep gates closed or
The nuisance code's pretty broad. We use the nuisance code all the time for people that are, unkempt properties, storage of materials outside required, it's used for many, many things that we do code enforcement on for the city. Yeah, for many properties that are not maintained properly. So we're not worried about that. This is one more tool we can use if we do need to enforce it in the future.
Any further discussion, thoughts?
I think that the use of the exterior siding material on the dumpster enclosure is going to be a more expensive, it's going to be more expensive that they're doing that. And I think that, this is a unique site where there's no backside, there's sides all around it. So the fact that they're doing that on the dumpster and they're using landscape buffer, I would agree that this is a move. I wish that we could get from the interior to it, but that probably, it sounds like the floor plan doesn't allow for that. So having a person door, assuming the person door will also be the Nichiha siding as well. But that's going to be added to that gate somehow. No, it's not.
Oh, on the dumpster?
Yes, on the dumpster enclosure, right?
Enclosure, I believe that's the same makeup as the gate doors themselves. So
Sure.
building the gate, and they'll be attaching the same siding to the gate door.
Yeah, because a lot of times you see perforated screen or something on a gate, which would see more. So I think that they're making all the right moves that they can do, given this situation. So I would agree with that. I would make a motion to approve this, given the conditionals that we provide.
Second.
Okay, is there any conditions that need to be attached?
If you approve according to the staff's recommendation,
Okay,
I
just
think
approve
you're
according
okay,
to the
unless you
staff's
want to add something else.
Okay, no, I was just making sure we didn't need to add that verbiage, so. So we have a motion and a second. So, any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alberhaski,
Aye.
Grebevich,
Aye.
Hartley,
Aye.
Moser,
Aye.
Stallnaker,
Aye.
Watson.
Aye.
Okay. That will go on
All
to
right.
council then.
Thank you. Motion carries. We'll go on to council. Is there any commission updates for tonight?
Just Ragbari's coming through town tomorrow, so get ready for all the bicyclists. Should be fun. So yeah, city's all prepared, I think, and to promote Cedar Falls is a great place to be. So hope you guys are all maybe going to partake in some of the festivities, or maybe you're just staying clear.
All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you.